welcome to Alabama bound Jen Phillips.
Hi. I'm going to talk really briefly and then just read a couple of pages, actually the first 2 pages of my book, which is called The Well and the Mine. It's set in 1931 Walker County in a town called Carbon Hill, which usually people have only heard about because they've gotten a speeding ticket going through there. At the time, the coal mines, this is at the bottom of the Depression, the coal mines are really suffering, but that's still about all there is in the town. And specifically, the story follows one family, the Moores, and the father, Albert, is a coal miner. There's the mother, Lita, and there are 3 kids. Virgie, who's 14, Tess, who's 9, and Jack, who's 5. And again, just because it's logical, I'm going to start on the very first page, which sets up, as you would think, the rest of the book. This is the one act, the one night that really changes the way that the entire family sees their town and their lives. This is told from Tess's point of view. After she threw the baby in, nobody believed me for the longest time, but I kept hearing that splash. The back porch comes right off our kitchen with wide gray-brown boards you can lose a penny between if you're not careful. The boards were warm with heat from the August air, but breathing was less trouble than it was during daytime. Everybody else was on the front porch after supper, so I could sit by myself. Nothing but night and trees around me, a thin moon punched out of the sky. The garden smelled stronger than the leftover fried cornbread and field peas with onions. It was the best time of the day to sit with the well, its wooden box taking up one corner of the porch and me taking up another. I loved the well then. I leaned against the kitchen door and looked through the wood posts of the railing, even though I couldn't see anything but black. There weren't clouds covering that slice of moon or the blinking stars, but they still didn't throw enough light. The light from the kitchen door let me see to the edge of the porch. But the woman, she didn't see me, I guess. Sometimes the Hudsons down below got their drinking water here. They didn't have their own well. And I thought it was Miss Hudson at first, but she was like a bird, and this was a big, solid woman with shoulders like a man. She climbed the stairs 2 at a time. Then she hefted that heavy cover off the well like a man would with no trouble. I couldn't see the baby at first because it was underneath her coat, but she took it out, a still little bean-shaped bundle wrapped up like it was January. I could have reached her in 5 or 6 steps if I'd moved. She held the bundle like a baby for a minute, tucked under her chin like she was patting it to sleep, whispering. The blanket fell back from its head and I saw a flash of skin. Then she tossed it in, just like that. Not long after the splash, just a quiet, small sound, she lifted the square cover again and fit it back into its cutout space, settling it in with careful little touches. Even with all that weight, the porch boards didn't creak when she left. I felt my teeth dig into my bottom lip, maybe drawing blood, but I was quiet as a mouse and stiller than one. Mice scatter like marbles. After I don't know how long, Virgie pushed at the door. I knew the sound of her feet on the floorboards. I scooted up and she poked her head out. Virgie wore cicada shells, pinned like brooches at her collar. We used to wear them all the time, rows of them like buttons down our shirts during summer, but since she'd be going to high school next year, she wouldn't wear them to school no more. She got too old. We're all out front. Why are you hiding back here? She looked down at me, then up at the well. I swear you'd marry that well if it'd give you a ring. Beyond, it was pitch, the kind of black you think you'd smash into like a wall if you were to run into it. The woman was gone. Some lady threw a baby down it, I said. Virgie looked at me some more. Down the well? I nodded. She laughed, and I knew without looking at her she was rolling her eyes. Hush up and go inside. She did. My mouth was still the only part of me I could make work. It felt like I'd taken root in the floorboards. Nobody's been near our well. Quit telling stories. She knew I didn't tell stories. I swallowed hard, and it loosened my feet. I pushed myself up and took a step towards the well. She was, too, a big woman with a baby in her arms, and she threw her baby in without saying a thing. What would she do with you watching her? She said it like she was grown up, not just 14 and only 5 years older than me. She didn't see me. My voice was high and my chest ached with wanting her to believe. At the well, I tried to slide the cover back, but it was too heavy. Look in here. You don't have a lick of sense. Virgie, I was begging. She looked a little bit sorry and came over to stroke my hair like Mama did when I got upset. Were you daydreaming? Maybe you saw somebody walk by the porch and you imagined it. No, we have to look in the well. How do you know it was a baby? It was. Was it crying? No. Finally, she looked worried, looking out at the night instead of looking at me. Somebody might have thrown some garbage or something in there out of spite. But who'd do it? It wasn't garbage. It was a baby. And I'm going to tell Papa. Thank you.